just had a little bit more in the fourth. But then, you look at DA going 10 for 12, and then I think Chris did something historical tonight in a closeout game. We needed it to win a game like this in front of an unreal crowd. And it's hard when you have to compete against someone you love. And so there was tons of emotions with this game. I'm glad we won, but I know what it feels like to be on the other side, and I just felt for Willie. But I was unbelievably elated for our team. So there's just this weird back and forth with my feelings and my heart right now. But I'm just grateful to get this win. It was a really cool win for us.
We saw it at the end, you and Willie embracing, and he embraced Chris, Devin. He had tears flowing out. Couldn't tell whether you did or not during that hug, but is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's just those guys. I mean, we're all family. You know what I mean? And I just read in Coach K's book, he was talking about competing against, people that he loved, and then that's, you shouldn't have to do that, but it's a part of our game, and I know what Willie brought to the table for our program, and you saw it this year with this program. And I had a lot of conversations with him earlier in the season when things weren't going well, and Willie Green is one of the more steady people that I've ever been around, and he was consistent and stable and strong through it all. And it's one of the reasons why they continue to get better. And I just know that feeling. I know what it's like. And so to see him in that, in that place, that's a tough spot for all of us, because at the end of the day, we're all friends, we're all brothers. And after we're done coaching, we're going to be that way.
Last thing I had was just your usage of Booker. Obviously, he got to start. And he didn't start the second half, but just curious.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have a fist fight over there, the look he gave me. We had already talked about it, but we had to stick to the plan because it was going to be easier to finish with him and keep his minutes relatively lower. Now, I played him about 8 more minutes than I wanted to. We wanted to keep him at about 24. But I was just watching him, and he didn't look like he was dragging it or laboring at all. And there wasn't many transition opportunities where he was the guy flying, where you may have to push that thing too far. And he told me, he said, "Coach, I feel fine and strong. I have no issues." So I just left him out there.
You've seen Chris play so many games. What was tonight like? Where does it rank?
Oh, gosh. It's hard to say. I can't even. He's done it so many times. It's probably number one because it just happened, And I know how special New Orleans is to him. He cares deeply about the city, about the people here, the fans, the children. So for him to come back here and play that way, I know it was, really cool for him, but it's probably number one because it just happened. But I've seen him do it so many times.
In terms of, you talked about when Book was out, how everybody steps up, now having him back. I know it wasn't his, highest scoring game or whatever, but how did you see the way that it kind of reshifted everything for everybody?
Obviously he competes his tail off on defense, which he doesn't get enough credit for, but the shots that he hit in the second half, the pull-up mid-range shot, not many people can get to that shot, let alone make the shot. But the 3 in front of our bench, that was textbook Book. I mean, there was so much attention on Chris, and somebody lost him, and he just did what Book does. So I thought the offense was a bit off in the first half. I thought in the second half we played in environments a lot better, but it was good to have another anchor out there. When Chris was going, we could also give it to Book and let him, do what he does really well.
We've talked a lot about Mikal Bridges, but his defense on
Yeah.
CJ the whole series and that steal that he had near the end, just
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those rare, high energy, highly effective defenders that can also be productive on offense at a high level. we thought we were going to take his head off when he went under on Ingram in the corner, and Ingram got the three. He didn't want to look at the bench because he knew that was the wrong read. But then he comes right back and gets a steal and converts on that. That's Mikal. I mean, if you go back to the bubble against the Clippers, we ended up with the ball because he got a big-time deflection that you couldn't choreograph it. He just got his hand on the ball. We got it back. Book hits a game-winning shot. I mean, those are the kinds of plays that he just has the instincts to make.
Monty, it's rare for you to move to a play, but when Mikal got that steal, you were sprinting with him up the side.
Yeah.
Almost.
I wouldn't call it a sprint. I don't have enough cartilage in my knee to sprint, but I was just,
Is
you
that
could
just
see
go
it.
back to the fight that
Yeah. I mean, in a crowd, in an environment like this, all we have is us. And I was just out there with him. You know, I could see what he was doing. He got the ball, and then I made an attempt at a jaunt, but a bad attempt. But I was just so happy that he made that play. And it's just one of those deals where you get caught up in the moment, and, I'm okay with that. I think it's cool when the players see me that way. They tell me that it gets them going. So I hope I can do it more.
just about all series long, it's been difficult to sustain offense for more than a
Yeah.
couple of minutes. And you guys put together that huge run in the third quarter of all places, 30-plus points in both quarters in the second
Yeah.
half. What did you see offensively that started to piece together?
It wasn't necessarily a play call, even though, like Brett Brown taught me when I went to Philly, the playoffs are more about environments and concepts because everybody knows your stuff. It's how well you can play in those two variables. And then, I've added talent and decisions, and I thought we made really good decisions. The biggest key on the other side, I think Nance had 6 offensive rebounds in the first half. I don't think he had one in the second. And that allowed for us to get the ball and get out and play and flow. But when you have two guys like Chris and Book who can get to their spots and knock down shots, and then DA goes 10 for 12, that was a huge bonus for us. Not necessarily a bonus, but when you have 3 guys that can score that way, it really helps your team.
Is there something you think there could be in the first round series, getting a 6-game fight like this as opposed to a sweep that can help you guys in the postseason?
I mean, all playoff series are hard. You know what I'm saying? Even if you sweep a team, like that last game is going to be a battle. So, yeah, it certainly helps us. I mean, this is not an 8th seed. No way. I mean, if you look at their record after the trade and the progression of Willie's program, you wouldn't grade that as an 8th seed. And their young guys don't look like young guys. I mean, they were knocking down shots, making plays at the basket. And Ingram is, he's a superstar. So this was a big-time battle. I mean, you would expect a series like this later on in the playoffs, but I think there's so much parity in the league now. You can't walk into a first-round series without keeping your left up. You better keep your left up and duck, because teams are throwing punches right out the gate.
Monty, do you have any idea during the game that Chris hasn't missed a shot?
I have no clue, but that's my normal state, so it's not saying much. I found out in the locker room.
Did you have any reaction to that? Does it matter? Does it make it any
Yeah, it
impressive
matters.
to you?
Yeah, I mean, I can sit here and do the coach thing and be like, oh, we won. But, yeah, when you win and he does that in a closeout game, like, yeah, that's special. We have a phrase, we celebrate everything. And when a player like Chris, who's given so much to the game and invested so much to be in positions like that, has a night like this, you want to make sure you recognize it. And so we talked about DA going 10 for 12, but then we had to bring up the fact that Chris did something that I think nobody else has done in NBA history. Like, yeah, you have to recognize that.
Might seem, just one more. Might seem obvious that rest is going to be beneficial no matter what, but especially with Book's situation to close them out and not go to a Game 7. Just what kind of value is that?
Yeah, I mean, Chris talked about it, the importance of that, but I think you have to not just rest, but you also have to take advantage of the rest. What does that look like? We're not going to take 3 or 4 days off. I don't even know the schedule. We're going to be able to go back to Phoenix and get the treatment that we need, and we'll be in the gym more than you think, just because we want to, keep our blade sharp, if you will, so that we can be ready for the next round.
So the next round starts on a Monday, I believe.
There you go.
So and I was going to follow up with Chris. Obviously, he had the huge third, and then he started picking when to go do things. How does one do that? I mean, where it looked like maybe he should stay on this road, but then he figures, okay, other guy get the ball and get 8 in the lob. How does one manage the game like that?
You're asking me.
You're his coach, so that's why.
I'm his coach. That's it. I have no idea. I just know that great players have a knack for that. They know when to and when not to. You know what I mean? The game slows down for them slower than it does for everybody else. And there's not many situations Chris Paul has been in that are going to startle him at all. And there's a trust factor between he and I when it comes to play calls down the stretch in certain environments. And he'll relay something to me and I'll be like, go with it. And he just does his thing. The one thing I don't want to do is ever get in his way. That's my job, is to try to put him in a position where he can be his best and then space the court around him that allows for him and Book and our guys to be the best version of themselves. But I have no idea what it is about him that allows for him to play that way. I'm grateful for it.
Monty, just one last little segment of the game I wanted to ask about. There was Cam getting that putback and then the steal and then 3-on-3 straight plays. He's been able to bounce in and out of this role all year,
Yeah.
still making an impact. Can you just speak to the job?
I mean, it's, we were talking about it in the pregame with TNT. Like, we knew that he was due for a game like this where he would, put his fingerprints on the game in a major way. And I thought the 50-50 ball that he got for the layup was, no one expected that play to happen. And then the transition 3 was huge. So, and then I thought his defense was solid. Ingram's a tough guard for everybody, and they run a lot of stuff that we run. So you have to, you better have a full tank when you're playing against that kind of offense. And so I thought on both sides of the ball he was pretty efficient tonight.
That was so funny. I want to laugh too. Where you want to start, D? Come on.
I have no idea. I'm going to go ahead and start with that shirt. You heard it, obviously, game 4 and game 6 that you're wearing now. Just good to have it on with the win and moving on to the next round.
I've embraced it. I'm embracing it right now. It was a great crowd, great atmosphere on the road, tough environment, but it was great to come out with a win, especially on the road. And I'm glad I could put the shirt on with a smile right now.
I understand you guys saw it before the game, right?
Yeah, they came in the locker room and told me some guys they got T-shirts out there with my name on it, so that juiced us up a little bit.
Curious, just overall though, just the way you guys were able to get back in the third quarter and then close out with the way Chris played and Devin being back, and all that wrapped up into one night.
Yeah, we really bounced back after that little second quarter run they went on. We really came in and came together. I think it shows in the game. You look at both of those quarters, 3 and 4, those guys never touched 30 points in a quarter. So I think we really came together as a team, as a unit, and got the job done, especially with those weathering the run. It was big for us. Obviously, they went on a big run right there before half. So we came in, talked about it, didn't watch much film. We had a little talk about it. Coach came in, a little message, but it was simple. The message was simple, and we went out there and executed that late.
Jay, Book would say last year when Chris would have these stretches in a game, he would just say, that's Chris Paul. Is that just another one of those for the way that he played tonight?
Yeah, he did some special stuff tonight. I think with how locked in he was on the offensive end of making plays for himself and for others, it was the highest it's been all year. He just seized the opportunity. It was an opportunity in front of us to close these guys out, and he did a great job of doing his half of helping us get this game. So you see, he went perfect from the field. He led us, put us in sets, got us organized when things were a little hectic, and he did what he's supposed to do, and I'm proud of him.
Your guys' crunch time stats have been well documented this year, but it was defense tonight. How'd you like the response to really lock down in that moment?
Like I said, I like the response from the second quarter on. I think those guys they threw a haymaker there in the second quarter, and we was dazed for a little bit, but we wasn't fazed from it. We gathered ourselves and we got back into it and stuck to the game plan. But I think we weathered that storm very well and very mature collectively.
Obviously, having Book back was probably nice. Monty's talked a lot about how when he's out, everybody kind of has to step up. How nice was it to kind of be able to see guys in their more typical roles again?
Yeah, it was good to have him back. Obviously, he's been working his butt off to get back at playing level. It was great to have him out there. Just his presence alone is great for our team. Whether it's 70% or 100%, I think it's beneficial for us to have him out there. So he knows what's ahead of us, and he's going to take care of his body and be ready for the next series.
And Mikal Bridges, you guys made a lot of plays down the stretch, but that steal he had on CJ and
Huge.
his defense in general in this series.
It's great. I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's right there, arguably the league's best defender. He's right there, and he showed it tonight. He showed it this series over and over again, and I think he came up with some big plays on that end of the court late, and he did 44 minutes again. He's
Jay,
playing.
how'd you get your hand on one of those T-shirts?
How did I get it?
Yeah, how'd you get it?
My guys brought it to me.
Yeah.
Some of my teammates brought me a few. Some take it home, put them in a case, sign it.
How do you explain that to your 8-year-old though?
I'm not gonna let her see it, but she definitely heard the chants. So I had to explain to her that it's all fun and games, it's all competition, but they really love your daddy. I had to play some little psychotic mind games with her, just so she don't get too caught up in it.
Do you remember me asking you about that funeral series a couple years ago? Where does this rank next to that in terms of the intensity and the shirt that you got on?
It's up there. It's up there. The crowd did a great job. Obviously, last weekend was a little more. I think Book said the crowd was more into it game 3 and 4, but they had a good home court, and they fed off of a young team like that, feed off the crowd, and it was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Man of the hour.
First, congratulations on the win. And second, you made history again, making the most attempts without a miss, making the most shots without a miss at 14 in a playoff game. When you hear that number, is this just it was needed tonight for you to do that, or how do you even think that?
Yeah, we needed it. Scoot up. Come on. That team right there, they pushed us, as hard as you're going to be pushed. And I think it might have been over, at some point in the second quarter, at some point or something like that, I told Coach, I said, I'm going to get aggressive. You know what I mean? I told him that. And then coming out the third quarter, I sort of saw how the game was going. I think we was down 10, so I knew I had to try to sort of force the issue.
Curious, Jeff, what was it like to have him back?
It's real nice. It's real nice to have him back. All the pressure they've been doing, all series, especially the last 3 games. It's a little bit different when you got him out there on the court. And I think that's what helped us that last, I don't know how much time was left, but he was on that left wing, and I don't know if they forgot, didn't realize who he was, but I looked over and saw how they were shifted, and that was probably the biggest shot of the game.
Which I was going to follow with Devin. When you saw the shift and you open, are you like, well, I know the ball's coming, it's just a matter of getting it in my hands?
Yeah, kind of like what C said. It caught me off guard too. Just you don't really get clean looks like that, and he threw it, I shot it. Simple as that.
How'd you work your way into this game with the hamstring? Coach was saying the game plan was to start the second half, go with Cam, and almost started a fist fight. Maybe joking the court, but
Yeah.
But how do you feel like you worked your way into the game?
Really just making sure my body was ready. I was confident in it. I tested it. Got some good work in yesterday, and I knew the adrenaline was going to kick in, and it was time to go. This is a big game for us. Now we just sit back and wait to see what happens in this Utah-Dallas game.
Look what you got on under the jacket.
You see it, man. I know. Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We saw you smile when you saw the shirt. Was it just kind of amusing to you, something like that?
Nah, it's really a beautiful thing, man. It's respect at its highest level. I don't know. I've never been a entertainer or performer, but having 15, 20,000 people chant your name, that's pretty impressive. So good for Jay. You know, people that didn't know his name before they went to the game know it now. So it's a beautiful thing.
Devin, you played a role in acquiring those shirts?
Nah, actually, I seen all the red shirts out when I was warming up. I looked over and I spotted it. And then the people that left that brought them. And then I sent Jay Jack on a mission. And he went, they had him under the seat. So I thought they only had 2, but they had like 8. So I was like, oh, I'm going to take a couple of these. And, yeah.
A question for both of you. Monty just said it was like an enough is enough mentality at halftime in terms of the effort in the first half. Did you guys feel that response necessary in the second half?
Yeah, they showed us a couple clips at halftime where their energy and their effort. You know, I think everybody came into the halftime and realized how much Larry Nance had impacted the game. You know, we knew Alvarado. We knew he was going to be picking up, you know, high energy. You know, he was a fan favorite. He played hard, but it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? So we had to match that energy.
Look, I know you've seen Chris Paul do this time and time again, but maybe not this good.
I would say nobody's seen this 14 for 14. It was the first time for all of us.
Just, I mean, you've been able to watch him take over a couple games in this series in the fourth. Just being able to have that kind of guy as your teammate come out here on the road in this kind of environment. What can you say about that?
I mean, I'd just say it gives you the, utmost confidence playing alongside him, knowing he's going to take care of the ball, knowing the ball is going to find the right person on time, on target.
3 turnovers.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you owe me 100 then.
No way.
Yeah. So that's a lot of confidence, especially down the stretch, when it's a close game. And, it's been a product of that the whole season where it's a close game with 5 minutes to go. Or tonight it was like 2:30. I remember looking up there, it was a tie ball game. We're nowhere in a good position. I feel that our talent, and our execution and our team, has been experienced enough in those situations where, we're comfortable with it. And, if we miss a shot, we miss a good look, we don't worry about it. We go to the other end and know it's a must-stop mentality.
Speaking of that, I know Mikal is your guys' deep boy, but for him to have that steal on CJ and play the type of defense that he did.
Yeah, so let's just correct that. It wasn't just Kale. It was DA too. DA let us know in the locker room. I heard we was telling Kale that was a big steal, and DA was like, that was his steal. But that was probably the biggest play of the game. You know what I mean? Because with us, we trying to execute down the stretch, and we feel like if we can get a 3-point lead, especially a 5-point lead, you know what I mean? We know, if they play the foul game, we know how we're going to execute. And so when we got a chance to get it, I think that put us up 4. Then, now it's time to bring it home.
Chris, you mentioned a few times in the series how long you played this game. Is tonight special, given how long you played, but to do it here, to not miss a shot?
Oh, man, it's unbelievably special. You have no clue what it's like for me to walk in for the game, right? Like everybody that works back here and all this, these people part of my family. Chris that's by our locker room right here with the yellow coat on, Chris been there since I was here. Pound him before every game when I came here, back when I played in New Orleans, and did the same thing this entire series. My older brother sitting on the baseline, like all these people, this is my family. People sitting courtside or whatnot, they've been here since I was here. And
Show them the chain, man. Show them what you got on, man. What is that?
Knock it off.
Tell them the story on it, where it came from, man.
Young Money, Wayne. When I played here in New Orleans, Lil Wayne used to come to the games all the time. That's been my big brother for a long time, you know what I mean? So I made sure I wore this chain he gave me years ago for the night, because it's nothing like playing here in this city. You know what I mean? It's nothing like it. I know I done went to other teams and all that, but the energy here, the way that they show so much love to the players, to your family. When I walk in, they ask me if my parents here and all that. So, and then Willie, so many different ties, to this team. Garrett Temple, Gary Clark played in my AAU program. He's on the team. You know what I mean? So it's so many different ties to New Orleans, and it always will be.
Book, was your family able to come up from Mississippi?
Yeah,
Yes.
a couple of them made it.
Daddy, granddaddy, all.
Yeah, not as many as the regular season, but they were in here for sure.
Book used to drive up here when he was a peewee.
I did. Watched him play. Seen some good games.
Chris, is it in your mind at any point in the game that you haven't missed?
No clue. I had no clue. till, I don't know, I think maybe like at halftime I realized, man, I might need to shoot a little bit more. You know what I mean? But throughout the game, for me, I'm literally managing the game. You know what I mean? We was talking about taking heat checks the other day, and I don't do that because I don't shoot enough to take a heat check, and once I miss, I might be cold, you know, but they would sort of let me get to my spots and shoot it.
Look, were you aware?
I was not. That's what I said after the game. I was not aware at all. I believe in the heat check, though. 14 for 15 looks a lot better than 14 for 14 to me.
He gonna heat check even if he
Yeah.
ain't hit 5 in a row.
I'll never have one of these games, these perfect ones.
So if you were 10 for 10 like Chris was, how many
Oh,
more
he
shots?
pulling up from the other free throw line.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, I'll see.
So I was just going to ask you both of you though on a serious note, so both of you hugging Willie after the game, he obviously had tears going, what was that like for you guys?
I mean, I don't think people ever really understand that relationship with me and Willie. I'm not in Phoenix if not for Willie. He's the first person that ever even knew about me even having a thought of coming to Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Like, he a coach, but that's my teammate, my brother first and foremost. You know what I mean? So, like I said, my post-game thing, I'm on the baseline seeing his son Mason. You know what I mean? It's just Willie my family. So not talking to him or communicating throughout a series, that's tough. And you know, at the end of the series, somebody not gonna win. So it's probably one of the weirdest things I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, man, Willie's the man. Willie actually reached out to me when I did my hamstring. He said, even though we're competing, you know, prayers up. I hope it heals quick. And he's just a stand-up guy, man. Always has been. You know, our relationship doesn't run as long as theirs has, but you know, last year we got to know each other, you know, very, very well. You know, I spent a lot of time on the court and just picking his brain, understanding his IQ for the game and trying to learn from it. And just knowing him coming here and how successful he's going to be, even after the rough start that they had at the beginning of the season. You know, I knew they were in good hands. I knew they had somebody to band around, and Willie's that guy. You know, it's going to be fun playing against New Orleans for the next few years.
I always tell people, if you tell me something bad about Willie, then you're telling me about yourself. Straight up. You know what I mean? If you come up to me and say something crazy about Willie, then I know where I stand with you. Yeah.